Thanks for tuning in to Coastal Fishing. This is going to be a quick review of our 130-pound bent butt fiberglass rod. Let's dive right in. So the rod portion of the rod is 43 inches, starting from this connecting point here, as a singular cut at the bottom of the rod. So when it marries to the handle portion of the bent butt, there's only one way it can fit, and therefore ensuring a secure and aligned fit with rod and handle, and it's done so with the hardware here. Next we have our X-cut grips. It's a nice texture as you're holding onto the rod. You could really feel the indents of the design in your fingers. And of course, next we have our blue and gold weave. It's a beautiful weave, and onto our first roller. So the first roller contains two actual rollers, a bearing inside, and then the hardware in between. These are Pac Bay. And then we have our nice logo and our description of our 130-pound. It's hollow glass all the way through, so you get some nice flexion. And it's the section 2, which is the rod portion of the bent butt rod. Again, we have our next rollers. Let's see how this thing bends. Real time and here in slow motion. You can see the rod likes to bend at the top. Our heavier rods typically have a stiffer bend, but the hollow construction still gives some even distribution throughout the rod. Again, this is our 130-pound bent butt. And then here are some of our other Pac Bay rollers. The rod's equipped with 5 rollers and a roller tip. And the tip here comes with a nice roller, again with a bearing in between, the hardware, and then the guide up top so the line doesn't skip over. Again, this is our 130-pound bent butt. It's the rod portion, and let's now move on to the handle. See our reel seat there, but let's start from the bottom. So the bottom, we have our cross-cut pattern aluminum handle. This cross-cut portion is great for putting into rod holders. Also, if you're putting it into a belt when you're fighting, but most likely this bent butt is going to be in a rod holder. So the straight portion all the way to the bend is 16 inches from bottom to that portion there, and from that bend to the connecting piece with the rod is 13 inches. Again, this is aluminum. And now let's move on to the reel seat. So the reel seat, as you can see here, the top portion rotates to adjust for fitment, and the bottom portion is stationary to align with the rod to make sure the rod and reel are in line. And then now we have our hardware to fasten the reel. It comes with 2 pieces and a washer in between, and you fasten them tightly once the reel is on, and you're secure and you're good to go. Now let's join the handle and the rod together. So what you're going to do is insert the rod into the handle like so, and remember that notch that we talked about earlier is going to fit only one way. Once you feel it tight and secure, you're going to take the hardware on the rod portion and screw tight. Then once it's on there, make sure it's nice and tight. There shouldn't be much slack at all or wiggle from the rod and the handle. And there you go. That's our Coastal Fishing 130-pound bent butt rod. Again, it's hollow fiberglass. Comes with 5 Pac Bay rollers and 1 Pac Bay tip. And the rollers have bearings in them. Please let us know if you have any questions.